Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm actually trying to encourage myself to get a little bit more creative in 2023. So I thought I'd start off with a little scrap room tour. Now I did give my room a little bit of a tidy up in terms of I just picked things up off the floor, but this is sort of the real way my scrap room normally looks. I don't have it perfectly laid out, but this was a good chance to give it a tidy up as well. So you'll see my dress mannequin. I do a bit of dressmaking on the side. I do a little bit of millinery. You can also see my little crafty helper there, my ginger ninja squirrel. So she's always hanging out with me in my craft room. Now under my main desk here, this is where I do a lot of my filming. So I have that sort of section that you can see where there's a pile of stuff, which is sort of the prep that I'm creating for layouts that are upcoming. So whether that be for a kit club, a design team, whether it be for an online challenge, just for a little bit of fun, I like to sort of, if I'm in the middle of filming something, which as you can see by this video, I am in the middle of filming an art journal. So you can see the art journal is sitting there under my filming section. I like to work off to the side and have that sort of next stage of planning in process. Particularly I do this when something might be drying, so I don't necessarily want to move everything off to the side and then film something new and then move it all back again. So I definitely leave things sort of sitting where I've filmed them, turn the camera off for a bit, and I'll either go and do something else. Could be some housework, not generally, but sometimes. Hang out with the kids, could be cook a meal depending on what time of day it is, things like that. So this is my filming setup. Now you can see I've got my iPad there. I like to have Netflix or Prime or something showing while I'm filming. I have my camera stand. Now I do all my filming on my iPhone. I did at one stage film with like my DSLR camera and things like that, but I find the quality when I'm filming with my iPhone is actually just as good as my DSLR. So it's a lot more convenient, it's less heavy, it's quicker to access. I can download it and edit it on my phone when I have the time. So I tend to use my phone for most of my filming of videos. I do use my DSLR when I'm photographing my layouts though, so that's a different section. Now, I've shown you a quick glance into where I'm storing my 9x12 albums. I'm going to get to that at the end of the video, but I wanted to show you just the way I've got this set up. So my scrap space has evolved over the last 15 years, and you know, as I sort of need more space, I tend to change things up. This space I've had for about 18 months now, which is probably the longest I've ever gone with a scrap space. So I'm really liking the way it is at the moment. I love the double desks. I have one desk where I can do my computer work and process my videos on my laptop and things like that. And then I have one desk that I can dedicate purely to scrapping. I love these Kallax bookshelves. I get most of my storage from IKEA. You can see my little pin board there, shelving at the top. I've got some pretty stuff on display. This particular room in my house used to be a sunroom. We have a high-set house, and it was already built in when we bought the house, but it was kind of like a nothing space. It's a bit small for a bedroom, so it really works well for a home office. The problem with it being previously a sunroom was that it gets a lot of sun. So normally by about 2 o'clock in summer, I can't actually use this room because the aircon doesn't reach this far, and it's just far too hot. So I generally scrap here in the mornings. In winter it's great because by the time the afternoon sun hits there, it's beautiful and warm. So that's sort of working on my times that I can get into my scrap room depending on the season. I do a lot of my scrapping at night, so I tend to wait till the kids, hubby goes to bed pretty early, so I tend to wait till the kids or everyone's gone to bed and do my scrapbooking then. Paper storage, so I've got the right hand side which is dedicated to like your plain papers, so glitter, white cardstock, 9x12 cardstock, black cardstock, and then on the left hand side all my papers are sorted by colour. So I find this a lot easier. I keep all my embellishments stored by colour because I feel like I can better access what I need at the time. So all my mixed media is stored by colour. I'm going to show you my favourite storage. Oh look, an empty drawer. Millinery supplies in the other drawers here, which are hidden away because I don't use them quite as often. But These are one of my favorite storage items in my craft room. So these are actually shoe boxes, and they come with dividers in them. So I find with the dividers, it's really great to separate things out. So you can see I've got quite a lot of these. I've got some on this Kallax. I've got some over on the top of my other shelves. They're really good for separating things and stackable and easy to label and find. So I generally like those. They're my favorite sort of storage because you can see and you can separate what you need. Now, having a look, I did briefly touch over where I photograph my layouts. At some point, I might actually go through a tutorial on how I photograph and process my layouts. But it's a pretty complicated process to try and get the lighting right, particularly because I'm using a fluoro above me and there's not a lot of natural light depending on the time of day. So the camera setup is a bit of a tricky one. All right, here's where it's going to get a little bit shaky, but I want to show you why I actually scrap a lot in 9x12. So you can see on this particular shelf, all I'm using is A4 display books, which are relatively cheap. You can pick them up at Officeworks, discount stores. Back to school time's a great time to buy them because they have heaps of them. But essentially, I can fit 13 of these, probably more because I don't squeeze them in. But I actually have that shelf that I just pulled this one out of. I have 13 A4 display books. And you can fit anywhere from, say, 12 to 20, depending on how bulky you make your layouts. So 12 to 20 layouts per album. So I don't have a calculator in front of me, but if I work it out, whatever that is, it's at least 300 layouts. So if we did 10 per album by 13, sorry, that's 130 layouts. So that's 130 layouts per cube on the Kallax, whereas I can only fit, say, 25 per 12x12 album, and I can only fit 4 albums in there. So 25 times 4 is 100. So I'm actually getting 30 more layouts per shelf. And for someone like me who's got shelves and I have boxes and boxes of layouts in storage, that's a lot of space that it takes up. So that's why I'm using 9x12 display books for my albums. All right, that's a look through my craft space. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to producing some more videos and sharing some more of what I've got going on in the future. So please hit that little subscribe. And of course, if you want to, you can friend me on Facebook.